In a world that's completely obsessed with clicks and code, we're about to talk about something a little different. Today, we're going to unlock the surprisingly powerful strategy of using real world events to actually fuel your business's growth. So let's just jump right in with a question for you. In this digital first world, what if your single most powerful growth tool wasn't an app, wasn't a social media algorithm, but something that's happening in the real world, maybe right in your own community? All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to start with the why, setting your goals. Then we'll get into the secret connection between your local events and your online presence. After that, we'll talk about how to turn these gatherings into actual profit. And finally, we're going to tackle the big one. Should your event be free or should you charge for it? Okay, first up, setting your event goals. This is absolutely the foundation. Seriously, without a clear purpose, you're just throwing a party. But with one, you're building a real asset for your business. So you have got to define your why. I mean, what is the number one goal here? Are you just trying to funnel clients into your main business? Or, hey, maybe you want to build a whole new business from the events themselves. You could be trying to position yourself as a thought leader. Or maybe your goal is to create one single massive fundraiser. Or you could develop a regular event series. This one decision is going to shape every single other thing that you do. Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting. We're going to talk about boosting your online presence. And I know what you might be thinking. Wait, how can an in-person local event do that? I get it. It seems totally backwards. But your local gatherings can be an absolute secret weapon for your digital growth. And the secret weapon is something called a backlink. Now, all a backlink is a link from one website to another. But think of it like this. In Google's eyes, it's a recommendation. It's a vote of confidence. So if a popular, respected website links to you, they're basically telling Google, hey, this site, it's legit. And the more of those you get, the higher you're going to rank. But, not all links are created equal. You've also got these other two types, citations and brand mentions. A citation is super simple. It's just a basic listing in a directory. A brand mention, well, that's not even a clickable link. It's just your business's name appearing on a web page. But Google's smart enough to see it, and even though it's not as powerful, it still counts for something. So what's the real difference in impact? Well, a true backlink is like a rocket ship for your website's ranking. A citation or a brand mention, that's more like a little sprouts. But here's the crucial insight, and you gotta remember this. When you are just starting out, you need those sprouts. They are the absolute essential first step to building your online authority. And this is how you turn your events into SEO fuel. It's a brilliantly simple three-step process. First, you just find local event listing sites. Think about your town's newspaper website or community calendars online. Second, you post your event details there. And third, these sites will almost always link back to your website. And just like that, you get these incredibly valuable, high-authority backlinks. It's that easy. Okay, let's talk about the good stuff, the money. This section is all about monetizing your gatherings and actually turning that passion and community that you're building into a sustainable, profitable venture. And here's the key. The real money isn't in that one-time ticket sale. No, it's in what we call lifetime customer value, or LTV. The whole goal is to turn a one-time attendee into a long-term fan, someone who might buy your products, hire you for a service, and keep coming back to bigger, more expensive events down the line. And the possibilities here are huge. Just think about the customer's journey. Someone comes to a small, cheap event, they have a great time, and then you can upsell them to a pricier weekend retreat. Or maybe you sell them some cool merchandise. You could offer consulting services or bring them on as a client for your main business. You could even attract sponsors who want to reach your audience, or just simply ask for donations. The ticket is just the beginning. Now, this is a really key piece of advice. Don't chase sponsors early. It's so tempting, right? Especially when you're just starting out and money is tight. But look at it from their perspective. A sponsor is not going to pay much for an audience of 3 people. The real strategy is to first focus on growing an engaged, dedicated audience. Once you have that, well, the sponsors will often start coming to you. And that brings us perfectly to our final section, the free versus paid dilemma. And let me tell you, this is not just a pricing question. It's a fundamental strategic choice that's going to directly impact your event's growth and, just as importantly, the quality of your audience. This table lays out the trade-offs perfectly. Okay, so with free events, you're going to get the highest possible audience size, which means maximum growth potential. But the quality of that audience? It's going to be a mixed bag. Paid events, on the other hand, lead to a smaller but pre-qualified audience and slower growth. But the upside is you know every single person there is willing to spend money. And the difference in attendance isn't small. It's absolutely staggering. You can expect up to 10 times more people to show up to a free event than a paid one. Just think about that for a second. For every one person who's willing to pay, 10 others will show up if it's free. That's a massive difference in your potential reach. So who are these people really? Well, free events get you the biggest possible crowd, but it's a mixed bag. You're going to get some freeloaders, people who will probably never spend a dime. But paid events, even for just a small fee, they act as a filter. They attract a premium audience, people who have already proven they're willing to open their wallets, which makes them much, much better leads for your business. But what if you didn't have to choose? This is where the hybrid model comes in, and it's a pretty clever solution. You keep the event free to maximize your audience and your growth, but you have a virtual tip jar for donations. This way, you get that massive reach, but you also open up a way to make money. And honestly, with 10 times the people in the room, it is entirely possible you'll make more from donations than you ever would have from ticket sales. And that brings us to the end. We've gone from setting a clear why to using events for online authority and even navigating the tricky question of how to monetize them. It just goes to show how powerful these real-world gatherings can be. So that leaves us with just one final question for you. What will your next event accomplish?